What I want to show you today is I had a book, The Mystical Glory of Shabbos and Festivals, and very, I think, important book because really it tells you what Shabbos is, which unfortunately many people don't know. So for this I will only show you how much is behind the first letter of the word Shabbat. Yeah, Shabbat, the first letter is Shabbos. Let us see what is the remarkable shin of this letter Shabbat. He says the letter shin. Right, if you remember, we talked about the letter shin representing light, because the letter shin was the letter with which God created the fire. Fire is definitely the source of light. Even he says the letter esh. You see, basically the sound of the shin, the esh. Aleph, as we also before we showed that the letter Aleph represents air, avir, which fire needs very much. So the letter Shin itself, also in the shape of the Shin, is like flame of fire. But it is much more about this remarkable letter. And this is really very, very important, because you see through this how much is behind Hebrew letters. And my books, definitely all of them, letters of fire, all my books one can get by GlazersonBooks.com. So really part of my book really speaks a lot about the letter Shin, the first letter of Shabbos. So the holiness of our three fathers, which descends on the children of Israel on Shabbos, it's according to Kabbalah. So the holiness of the three fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, descends to the children of Israel on Shabbos. Now it is revealed in which way, according to the Zohar, is the breaking down of the word Shabbos. And you break it into different letters, as we said, three letters, Shin, Bat. So it means it's into the components of Shin and Bat. The letter Shin, with its three branches, hints at the fathers, as we said, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And as we said, really, looking into the three branches, they have different shapes, not only simple line, but the left one is the shape Zayin, like a sword. It's the meaning of the word Zayin in Hebrew, sword. And this definitely is a symbol of Isaac. Isaac was a pillar of strength, we know quite well. Abraham was a pillar of loving kindness, wisdom. So he has a letter Yud in the Shin, and Jacob, known to be the pillar of truth, harmony, beauty, and this is what he was. And this is really what the letter Vav in the Shin. So basically the shapes of the letters which build the letter Shin have exactly the idea of the three forefathers, which come to Jews on Shabbos. So the letter Shin, as we said, with three branches, hints at the fathers, while Bat, in Hebrew, Bat is daughter, is one of the names by which the community of Israel is called in the Holy Scriptures. In many places, very Song of Song, which is a song between, showing the relationship between God and Israel, and there we find many times the expression daughter for the daughter of Israel. So Shabbat is Shin, the shining. By the way, the letter Shin represents light, and it is very interesting, like Shin, shining. In English also the Shin, S-H-W-N, and shine, no doubt connected with Hebrew. So what a book, Hebrew source of languages. Today some universities in the States agree that Hebrew was a source of all languages. Now, then, looking more into this, upon closer inspection of the three branches of the Shin, so it is discovered that each branch is different letter. This is what we said. Now in detail I wrote here exactly how it looked like. The branch to the right forms the letter Yud, the middle one forms the letter Vav, and the branch to the left forms the letter Zayin. So this real letter symbolizes the fathers. As we said, the Yud, which is the right branch of the Shin, stands for the spiritual power of Abraham, which come to rest on the children of Israel on Sabbath. So Yud is also wisdom, and this is something which definitely has to do with Abraham. Then when we go more into the letters, it means this is Abraham, we said, and the letter Yud is related to Abraham, since it is letter which signifies wisdom, as we said. Now these trait characters, Abraham, who through the power of wisdom recognizes the Creator, you know quite well. He really, all monotheism came by Abraham. So the wisdom, the real wisdom, was definitely by him. Also, as how mystical books tell us, wisdom and loving kindness have common connection in that both being to the right side. As you know, the spheres really are divided in right, left, and middle. So right normally is loving kindness, like Abraham. The left one, strength, is Isaac, and the middle one is Yaakov. Is a combination of these two. So this is really the idea of the spheres. Of the spheres are building like this, and the same thing you have eternity, Netzach, and Hod, and glory. Right and left and middle you have your sword, foundation, kingdom is the middle. So all of them definitely has very important things in the order as they are look like. So the right side, as we said, represents wisdom, opposite understanding and strength, which are on the left. There's the other side, we said, understanding, strength, on the left side. So on the left side of the shin stands the letter Zayin, so it's also explaining nicely why the Zayin on the left, because the letter which symbolizes the weapon of war, in the shape and might, and which, in its written form, resembles the shape of the sword. And this is Isaac, a pillar of strength, the attribute of the left side. This is why the left side of the shin. This is Isaac, a pillar of strength, we said, right? The attribute of the left side. The Vav, the letter Vav, formed by the middle branch of the shin, signifies emet, truth. This is according to the Zohar, and it is a letter according to Zohar which God set upon Cain. It is very interesting, you know the story that God gave him a sign. So the quality of truth is attributed to Jacob, who possessed, as the word itself suggests, all other quality from Aleph till Chet. So, no doubt that we have beautiful idea behind the letter Shin. This is the shining, the beauty, the light, which come on Shabbos, with whom? With the three forefathers, which are exactly reflected in the three branches of the letter Shin. So the letter Shin, as stated often in the Zohar, is called the letter of truth. This is always the Zohar brings it, the letter of truth. And this is also because of the three branches, the symbol of harmony. And truth have to do with harmony. It is very interesting that in Hebrew, the word emet have the first letter of the Aleph, Bet, Aleph, the middle one, Mem, and the last one, Taf. So it is so interesting that the idea behind is the truth is when you show the whole picture properly, past, present, and future. Otherwise, if you make, you show only piece of it, so definitely it's not the truth. The truth has to cover everything, no? In everything in life. If you cut yourself from the past, unfortunately, which happens, people don't want to know the past, they want to start a new life. So I said this for a joke, but if you take the letter Aleph from emet, you have mess, make a mess of themselves. Also, it's written that the letter Amet, in Hebrew, death, died. Because without past, without the sources of the past, you will not be able to carry on to the future. Yeah, so very important. And this was the letter Emet, really have these three letters representing Aleph, the first, past, present, future. This is the truth, exactly the idea. So this was the letter Shin is called letter of truth, which is conveyed by the harmony of the three branches, as we said. This being so, we can deduce that the word Shabbat indicates the joining of quality of truth, as we said, to the daughter of Israel on Shabbos, and it influences even the common layman not to lie on Shabbos. It is very interesting. Maybe now it's different, but it's written that in the past it was the atmosphere of Shabbos, feeling the sanctity of Shabbos. Even a man who was secular still had someone who could not lie, amazingly. So with the coming of the Shabbos, the creation of the world was completed. And we know it quite well from the word which are used by the Torah to describe this are bara Elokim lasot, which is the last letter, the meaning of the word bara Elokim lasot, God created to do, bara Elokim lasot. The last letters of this verse spelling out the connection between Sabbath and Emet, because the last letter of bara is Aleph, the last letter of Elokim is Mem, the last letter of lasot is Tav, Emes, truth. So clearly showing you that the truth is permanently established in the world with Sabbath. So it means the truth is the foundation of the world, definitely. And this is really permanently established in the world with Sabbath together. Now, the entire world existence is dependent on truth, and without it the world is destined to annihilation. It is very interesting that according to Kabbalah, Revelation Orach Chaim brings it in. He says that is written in the Torah, is written that in 6, simply we translate in 6 days God created the world, but in fact in Hebrew, if you look properly, it's not written in. In Sheshet Yamim bara Hashem, God created 6 days, and we are going around those 6 days, the same Sunday going around, like something like Einstein said that, yeah, but it's interesting that time is fixed and we are going around it. Now, therefore, because God created only 6 days, so we need energy to give the world to carry on, power to carry on. This is what Shabbos is. Sabbath is a day that really, just keep it properly, so the word carries on. It's written. There is a verse in the prophets, Isaiah said, what is written, Im lo briti, if not my covenant, shamayim chukot shamayim ha'aretz something. I would not create the world, heaven and earth, because the Brit, Sabbath, Torah, this is the basis of creation. So therefore, Torah have to be learned any minute. If it will be a situation that no learning Torah, no word will not exist. No word, no Torah. And this is what the Zohar says. By the way, in Leviticus, the Zohar speaking about long time ago. Yeah? The Zohar says the world is round, is going around, and when is light up, there is darkness down. Amazing. This was the Zohar says clearly. What later on, was discovered, but this is a Zohar. It says amazing is that God created the earth round, going around, circling, and when is light up, is darkness down. So when is light in Israel, is darkness in the state. When is light arrives, so we'll be studying, learn all the Torah, all the time. The Yeshivas will be open all the time, learn amazingly, because without the Torah, the world will not exist, because Bereshit, the world was created for Reshit, for the Torah, for Israel, which is called Reshit. So, therefore, this is the idea, it's an amazing idea, which really close to the idea of Einstein, time is fixed and we are going around. So, this is the letters of the creation, the last verse of the creation, which have the letters Emet, truth. So it goes together. So then we have to know that the entire world existence depends on truth, and without it, as we said, we're destined to annihilation. Yeah, we know quite well. That the creation of the world was also dependent upon truth is suggested by the last letters of the first verse of the Torah. Interesting, also the first verse of the Torah also have the same letters, Bereshit, Taf, bara Elokim, Aleph Bet also. In the beginning, God created. But it is amazing different between even the same letters, but in the combination is different. So although here the letters are not in the proper order to spell MS, because it starts with Tav, as was the case with bara Elokim Lasot, because the end of the creation is the right order, Emet. Even this fact contains a lesson for us, namely that only with creation of Shabbos is truth established in the world. So it is also a deep idea that the first letters of MS, the Tav, is the first one because it really indicates the future. And it shows that really in the beginning, God had the intention to create the world which will be based on truth, which we see in the end of the creation. So, very important. Now, as we mentioned, really, the idea of our Chaim HaKadosh, really, I brought it really in my book, saying the following. He was a master of Kabbalah. So according to the Or HaChaim and the master of Kabbalah, basically, also, they say the creation in essence was only 6 days. As the Torah verse tells us, 6 days God made the heaven and earth. In English translation, you will not find it. You will find it in English in 6 days, in all translation, because 6 days, what is 6 days? Because in other language, the translation cannot really express the truth. So 6 days, the verse says, and not in 6 days, informing us that the creation in the essence was those particular 6 days. And that afterwards came Sabbath to give strength to the world and establish it. And the cycle continues. So we said that the idea is this, what our says, that Israel are partners to creation because keeping the Shabbat, studying Torah. God forbid, there should not be anyone observing Shabbat in the world will return to chaos. This is written. Interesting. How to know it. So, very important, as we said. Now, truth concealed in Sabbath constitutes the founding element of the world and allows the world to exist. Sabbath as the basis and foundation of the world existence can be seen by arranging the letter Shabbat into another combination. Before we saw Shin Bat, Shin, the 3 branches shining of Eber Mezek, come to the daughter of Israel. Now the same letters in a different position, when you put the letter Shin, Taf, and Bet, then you have another thing. So if you put the letter Shabbat, Shin, Taf, and Bet, what is the idea? Shet in Hebrew means foundation. Shet was called also the son of Adam because it was foundation of the world. This Shet, Tashtit, Shet is foundation. Now Bet, it's like Bait, stand for Bait, which is the house. So this is alluding to the structure of the world. Shabbos then is a foundation existence of the world. Amazing. This is what Shabbat is. Shat, Bet, the basis of this house of the world. So as we saw above, the word Bereshit symbolizing the essence of the foundation of the world, according to the Zohar. This same word indicates to us that the process was completed in 6 days, since we can divide it into the verse Barashit. Also very interesting. Barashit, he created, this means created in 6. The 6 days. Shis in Aramaic means 6. And you know, Aramaic is like a dress of the Hebrew. This refers to the 6 days of doing work. The same letters as we saw above can be transposed to form Yereh Shabbat. Bereshit also has the same like fear of the Sabbath, showing that this concept is dependent on the first one mentioned. Therefore, we can conclude that the existence of the 6 days of work is dependent on the fear of Shabbat. And fear of Shabbat, if you are afraid of Shabbat, you are keeping Shabbat. So amazingly, there's the word Bereshit is Yereh Shabbat, fear of God. If you remember, we had a whole really lecture before about the idea of Bereshit with many other combinations. Especially we spoke about Brit Esh, covenant between men and women, many important ideas behind these compositions. Now there is another aspect to the letter Shin that we find in mystical writing, which fits in with our previous explanation of the value of Shabbos. What is this? The letter Shin, which is pronounced Shin, comes from the term Shinun, sharp, keen, from Shanen, Shinamtam levanecha. I mean, you should teach your children understanding problems. So the Shanen is really to do referring to power of understanding. As stated in the verse, we said, Shinamtam levanecha, and you shall teach them to your children. So the letter Shin also have to do with understanding. Very interesting. Also maybe to do with light also, because we understand things properly, so it is light for you. But interesting that Shin also means understanding, and so that this phrase emphasizes the word of Torah should be keen in our mouths after we develop proper understanding of them. Therefore, the letter Shin comes to let us know that when man is graced with additional understanding on Sabbath, along with the additional soul. So amazing, the Shabbat is a time is written that the man should learn more on Shabbos and understand more, because this is a day of learning, studying Torah, spiritual, not on really being involved in materialistic things. So, as we said, this is a very small part of my book, but only really show you part of what is behind the letters Shabbat. It is much more beyond. I said you can get my book and see some more things around. So, very interesting things about Shabbat. So have Shabbat Shalom, and as I said, really one should know that Shabbos is not only not working, it is much, much more. And this is which people unfortunately don't realize in Israel, secular, still demonstrating against Shabbat, demonstrating against all other things which we think it is simply because of not understanding.